The day you realize no one cares about you, everything changes. Stop for a moment and think about this. Somewhere today, someone you know completely forgot about you. Your name slipped from their mind. The story you told them, the struggle you shared, the thing that mattered to you so much it simply disappeared from their thoughts like it never existed. And maybe right now you are waiting for a message, waiting for your phone to light up with a simple, "Hey, are you okay?" But the screen stays dark. No notification, no check-in, no one asking how you're really doing. And the silence starts to feel heavy. Maybe you tell yourself they're just busy. Maybe you convince yourself they'll text later. But deep down, you already know the truth. They probably won't. Because while you're thinking about them, replaying conversations, and wondering what they think of you, they're moving through their day without thinking about you at all. And then night comes. It's 2 a.m, the world is quiet, and your mind won't stop. You lie there staring at the ceiling, replaying moments from your life. The things you said, the things you wish you had said, the embarrassing moments that somehow still live in your head long after everyone else has forgotten them. You wonder if people judge you, if they remember your mistakes, if they think about you the way you think about yourself. But here's the uncomfortable feeling that slowly creeps in during those quiet hours. Maybe no one is really thinking about you at all. And strangely, that lonely realization might be the beginning of something far more powerful than you expect. Here is the painful truth most people never say out loud. No one is thinking about you nearly as much as you believe they are. The mistakes that keep replaying in your mind late at night are not replaying in theirs. That awkward thing you said, the moment you wish you could take back, the small embarrassment that still makes your stomach twist, chances are, everyone else forgot about it hours ago. While you keep revisiting it in your head, they have already moved on with their lives. People are not sitting somewhere analyzing your choices or predicting your future. They are not wondering whether you will succeed, fail, change careers, or chase a dream. Your life is not the center of their thoughts the way it is the center of yours. In fact, most people barely remember the details you once shared with them. The story you told, the struggle you opened up about, the thing that meant so much to you, it often fades quickly from their memory because their minds are already full of their own worries. And the reason is simple. Every person is the main character in their own story. They wake up thinking about their problems, their plans, their fears, their relationships, and their future. Just like you do, their attention is naturally pulled toward their own world, their own struggles, and their own goals. That doesn't mean people are cruel or intentionally dismissive. It simply means that everyone is busy carrying the weight of their own life. And in the story they are living, you are not the protagonist. At best, you are a side character who appears briefly in a few scenes. Understanding this can feel harsh at first. It may even sting a little. But recognizing this truth is the first step toward seeing the world more clearly and eventually, toward freeing yourself from the invisible pressure of constantly worrying about what others might think of you. If you look closely at everyday life, you can actually see small signs of this everywhere. Think about the last time your birthday passed and a few friends forgot about it completely. These are people you talk to, laugh with, maybe even spend a lot of time with. Yet the day comes and goes, and they only realize it later if they remember it all. It might feel personal in the moment, as if it means you weren't important enough to remember. But most of the time, it simply means their minds were already full of other things. You see it in families too. You might tell a story, explain a problem you're dealing with, or share something meaningful that happened to you. Then a week later, someone asks the exact same question again, as if the conversation never happened. At first, it can feel frustrating, like nobody truly listened. But in reality, they were probably carrying their own worries while you were speaking, thinking about bills, responsibilities, or problems in their own lives. The same thing happens at work. A coworker might smile, have a short conversation with you, and then 5 minutes later, they're completely absorbed in their next task. By the end of the day, they barely remember the interaction at all. And then there are messages, the long, thoughtful text you send where you explain everything you're feeling, hoping someone will understand. Minutes later, the reply comes back with a single word. Okay. Or maybe just a short cool. Sometimes there's no reply at all. Moments like these can easily make you feel invisible. But the deeper meaning is rarely that you are unimportant or unworthy. The truth is much simpler and far less personal. Everyone is busy managing their own life. They are thinking about their deadlines, their relationships, their fears, their plans for tomorrow. Their minds are crowded with their own story. And when people are that busy living inside their own world, it's not that they don't care about you, it's that their attention is constantly pulled back toward themselves, just like yours often is too. At first, this truth can sound dark, almost depressing. The idea that people are not watching you, not thinking about you, and not paying close attention to your life can feel uncomfortable. But if you look at it from another angle, it becomes something completely different. It becomes freedom. Think about how much of your life has been shaped by the fear of being judged. You hesitate before speaking because you imagine someone might criticize you. You hold back your ideas because you think people are evaluating them. You worry about how you look, how you act, and whether you are making mistakes in front of others. But the reality is far simpler than the stories inside your head. No one is standing there observing every move you make. No one is secretly keeping score of your successes and failures. No one is carefully analyzing every decision you take. The small things that feel huge in your mind an awkward moment, a wrong word, a risky decision, rarely stay in anyone else's memory for long. Most people are too busy dealing with their own lives to monitor yours. They are thinking about their responsibilities, their worries, their relationships, and their future. Their attention constantly returns to their own path, just as yours often returns to yours. And this is where something powerful happens. The invisible pressure you thought existed, the pressure to perform perfectly in front of others begins to fade. The audience you imagined watching you, judging you, and forming opinions about your every move was never really there. The stage you thought you were standing on is mostly empty. Once you truly understand this, something inside you shifts. You realize that many of the limits you placed on yourself were built on an illusion, because the audience you feared disappointing doesn't actually exist. For most of your life, you may have been carrying invisible chains without even realizing it. These chains are not made of metal, but of thought's quiet fears that follow you through your decisions every single day. One of the heaviest is the constant worry about what other people might think. Before you speak, before you try something new, before you show your real personality, a voice inside asks the same question. What will they think of me? That question alone has stopped countless dreams before they even had the chance to begin. Another chain is the need for approval. Many people move through life waiting for someone else to confirm that they are doing the right thing. They look for praise, validation, or a simple sign that others agree with their choices. Without it, they hesitate. They slow down. Sometimes they stop completely, unsure whether they should continue. Then there is the quiet hope that someone will come and rescue you. Maybe a mentor, a partner, a friend, or even luck itself. The belief that one day someone will appear and suddenly make everything clearer or easier. While waiting for that moment, you remain stuck in the same place, hoping for a push that never arrives. And at the same time, you may find yourself constantly trying to impress people, choosing words carefully, shaping your image, adjusting who you are so others will like you more. It becomes a performance zone where you try to appear successful, confident, or interesting in the eyes of others. But here is the deeper truth behind all of this. Much of this pressure comes from an audience that exists only in your imagination. You are living under the gaze of people who are not actually watching that closely. In many ways, you have been shaping your life according to the imagined opinions of others, instead of the direction your own heart wants to go. When you truly understand this idea, something inside you begins to change. The weight you have been carrying for so long slowly starts to lift. For years, much of your fear may have come from the belief that people were constantly watching, judging, and forming opinions about everything you did. But once you realize that most of that pressure was imagined, the fear begins to fade. You start to feel lighter. Decisions that once felt terrifying suddenly become simpler. Instead of overthinking every small choice, you begin to move faster. You choose a direction and go. Not because you suddenly know everything, but because you no longer feel the need to wait for approval from people who were never truly paying attention in the first place. You also become more willing to try new things. The ideas you once kept hidden, the projects you wanted to start, the skills you wanted to learn, the paths you were curious about, no longer feel so dangerous. Failure stops looking like a public disaster and starts looking like a normal part of growth. If people are not keeping score of your mistakes, then trying becomes far less frightening. Little by little, the fear of being judged loses its grip on you. You stop imagining critics behind every decision. You stop shrinking yourself to avoid standing out. Instead, You begin acting according to what feels meaningful to you. And that is when the most important realization appears. No one is truly controlling the direction of your life except you. The invisible authority you once felt, the imagined crowd of people deciding whether you were doing things right, was never actually in charge. When that illusion disappears, something powerful replaces it. The understanding that your life is finally back in your own hands. One of the biggest traps people fall into is living their lives as if they are constantly on stage. Every action, every choice, every word becomes part of a performance designed for other people. This is especially clear in the age of social media. You take photos, write captions, and carefully choose what parts of your life to show. You try to present the most polished version of yourself, the happiest moments, the best achievements, the most impressive experiences. Behind all of it is a quiet hope that others will notice, approve, and admire what they see. But at the same time, you worry. You worry about what people might say. You wonder if they are judging you, criticizing you, or comparing their lives to yours. You might hesitate before posting something, questioning whether it looks good enough or sounds interesting enough. Slowly, without realizing it, you start shaping your life around how it might appear to others. The problem is that everyone else is doing the exact same thing. They are also performing, also trying to look confident, successful, and put together. Each person is focused on their own act, adjusting their own mask, making sure their own performance looks convincing. It becomes like a giant circus. Everyone is juggling, balancing, and performing tricks, hoping the audience will applaud. But when you look more closely, you notice something strange. The seats in the audience are mostly empty. The performers are so busy watching themselves that hardly anyone is truly watching anyone else. And once you realize this, the question becomes simple. Why keep performing at all? Your life was never meant to be a show designed for approval. It was meant to be lived imperfectly, honestly, and freely, without the pressure of pretending for a crowd that isn't really there. At some point, you have to face a simple but powerful question. Who is actually in control of your life? For a long time, many people move through life almost on autopilot. They wait for approval, wait for encouragement, or wait for someone else to show them the right path. They hesitate to make decisions because they are worried about what others might think or how others might react. But when you step back and look at the situation honestly, something becomes clear. If you don't take responsibility for your own life, and other people are too busy living theirs, then no one is truly in control. It's like sitting inside a moving car where everyone assumes someone else is driving. The car keeps moving forward, but no one has their hands on the steering wheel. Eventually, that kind of journey leads nowhere good. Your life works the same way. Your time, your energy, and your future are constantly moving forward whether you actively guide them or not. If you spend too much time waiting for someone else to give you direction, years can pass without you ever choosing your own path. That is why the most important step is simply deciding to take the wheel yourself. It means accepting that your choices matter and that the direction of your life depends on you more than anyone else. No one else will care about your dreams as deeply as you do. And no one else will live with the consequences of your decisions the way you will. So instead of waiting for someone to guide you, reach forward and grab the steering wheel. Choose your direction. Adjust your course when you need to. And start moving through life with the awareness that you are the one responsible for where it goes. For many years, you may have been playing roles that were never truly yours. Without even noticing it, you slowly built a version of yourself designed to meet other people's expectations. You became the good child who always listened, who avoided conflict, and who tried to make everyone proud. You became the reliable friend who was always there to help, even when you were exhausted. You became the person who was always kind, always understanding, always careful not to upset anyone around you. On the surface, these roles seem admirable. Society often praises people who are polite, responsible, and easy to get along with. But over time, constantly trying to live up to these roles can create a quiet kind of pressure. You start thinking more about who others want you to be than about who you actually are. You hold back your opinions to avoid making waves. You say yes when you want to say no. You hide parts of yourself because you are afraid they might disappoint someone. Little by little, your life becomes less about your own choices and more about maintaining the image people expect from you. And eventually, the cost of this performance begins to show. You feel tired more often, not just physically, but emotionally. There is a sense of frustration that is hard to explain. as if you are living a life that belongs to someone else. The person everyone sees may look responsible, kind, and dependable, but deep inside, you may feel disconnected from who you really are. Letting go of these roles does not mean becoming selfish or careless. It simply means allowing yourself to exist as a real person, instead of a character designed to please everyone around you. Because if you spend your entire life trying to satisfy every expectation, you may wake up one day realizing that somewhere along the way, you lost the most important person of all, yourself. In the end, the realization that nobody cares as much as you thought is not a tragedy, it is the beginning of your freedom. For so long, you may have been waiting for permission, waiting for someone to tell you that it's okay to start, okay to change, okay to follow the path that feels right to you. You may have been waiting for approval, hoping that one day people would finally recognize your choices and say you're doing the right thing. But the truth is, that approval may never come, and it was never something you truly needed. Your life does not require a vote from the world. It does not require applause from people who are busy living their own stories. The moment you stop waiting for permission is the moment you begin to take your power back. You stop shaping your decisions around imagined expectations and start listening to what genuinely matters to you. Living honestly with yourself means allowing your real thoughts, dreams, and ambitions to exist without constantly filtering them through other people's opinions. It means choosing your direction, even when the path is uncertain. It means accepting that mistakes will happen, but they will be yours to learn from. And most importantly, it means understanding that your life is not a script written by someone else. You are the one holding the pen. Every decision, every step, every risk becomes a line in the story you are writing. So stop waiting, stop performing, stop asking for approval from a crowd that was never truly watching. Because the truth is simple and powerful. Nobody cares. And that's the beginning of your freedom.